all Indians are digital scammers.
First of all, I want to tell you something that ChatGPT makes you dumber.
Prompt engineering, and you're saying prompt engineering is dead.
Almost dead right now because you can feed your memory, you can feed your thinking, right? You can feed your brain into something called as skills.
So I was just experimenting with one of a very old model, Roberta, it was called. And when you ask her what a woman employee can be and what a male employee can be, what a black woman employee can be, so it gives very racist, radical answer. AI won't replace you, but somebody who's using AI will definitely replace. So what is that scares you about AI?
I think what scares me about AI is one thing that
Hi Rishi, welcome to Global Desi Podcast. Thank you so much for joining at a very short notice. I hope you're enjoying the rainy London.
Absolutely.
So is it the first time you come to London?
This is my second time, but then I'm coming here for the first time in winters, basically the cold weather. So I'm kind of getting used to it, but it's good. I like it here.
Yeah, and you've been to Edinburgh as well. How did you find Edinburgh?
It's beautiful, but it's more colder than London, so I could not bear it after a while.
That's my hometown for last 20 years now, so I really like Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So thank you. I mean, I tell you how I came across your profile. Recently, I was in India, and my sister's son, my bhanja, he told me we were talking about AI, and he told me that do you follow Rishi Jain? I said, who this person is? And he took my phone and followed you. And that's how. And today we are talking here in London. What a coincidence!
Seriously, I mean, this was this time to be, right? Just 1 month.
I really believe in this.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you. So, tell us more about what you do. Introduce to our Indian diaspora, Indian student living in UK, so that I who wish your follower increases after this podcast. So, tell us in like 2-3 sentence what do you do, and tell us more about it. Yeah.
So I run a digital marketing institute. We're based out of Chennai and Mumbai, and I also consult at my brother's agency, which is Echo VME. So I handle clients, and whatever I learn in terms of marketing, I go and teach to my students. So my forte is AI marketing. Majorly, performance marketing is my go-to expertise. So, and a little bit of content creator as well. Now, although I don't identify myself as an influencer or content creator, that happened because of AI. I got better at it and much faster at it. But essentially, I recognize myself as a more a business owner.
Okay. Fair enough. So, a lot of people I speak to, there are two parts of people divided into two parts. So one segment thinks that this is just a bubble, like a dot-com bubble we had, during 2000. So AI is just a bubble; it will burst soon. The other people think that is the one of the biggest game changer in our lifetime, which will change human behavior. So, which segment are you, and why?
If you take a look at the ground reality, right now we are looking at not mass hiring, but we're looking at mass freezing, right? Which is what I'm trying to say is
What do you mean of mass freezing?
basically there won't be people, or the companies won't be looking at hiring entry level jobs, because AI could technically do all of that, right? So a lot of people say no, we're not losing jobs and all of it, but the reality is that we won't be needing entry level operators, right? If you take a look at all the junior level coders, junior level marketers, junior level copywriters and all of it, it's completely taken over by AI itself, right? So next 2-3 years people will realize the repercussions and they have to skill up better, right? And the right word is they have to become more intelligent to be able to go out and compete with others and do much better jobs than what they would have actually got, right? So that's one of the things you have to take a look at. So it's not bubble, it's far from the truth. It is definitely happening, and majorly jobs are not being automated, tasks are being automated, right? So what are tasks? Chalo, if there's a social media person, right, he comes into the company, he basically researches content, he writes the script, and then gets the shots done and then edits and then publishes, right? So this entire framework from your point A to point E could be automated using AI. So a lot of these tasks are being automated, and that is why I feel that I am definitely on the pro AI side. It's changing. If you take a look at the coding side of things, major code today, 80% of the code is not written, right? It's being assisted by AI, and coders just overlook it and they just determine whether to go ahead with or not, but just by pushing buttons. So you can realize.
So don't you think this will create a lot of disruption in the world economy, because a lot of people will lose their job, there'll be anarchy. So are you not fearful that AI would just disrupt the whole world? What do you think of that?
I think that we would have new set of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we would be heading towards a place where, like, same thing happened when ATM were released,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people said that bank teller jobs would be taken
Gone,
over,
yeah,
where
yeah.
they were
Once
just giving
computers were
cash.
introduced,
Yeah,
yeah.
when computers were introduced, Excel sheet guys would be taken off and all of it. Accountants would be losing their jobs. But what really happens is you have to upskill, right? All the bank tellers became loan guys, and they were basically got into consultancy, selling different services altogether. Similarly, they'll have to upskill, and most of them will become consultants of AI, right? How to use it for solving different purposes, right? And they're going to find something around that particular topic. So I'm sure there will be a shift. And then people have to upskill. That's the biggest challenge, but people are not willing to do that. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people in their heads, they're still thinking AI is here. It's just a fad. It's going to go away. But then the reality is far from the truth.
So one thing I tell to most students is that AI won't replace you, but somebody who's using AI will definitely replace you.
100%. I think AI can make you 100x faster,
Right.
in all the possible ways. So if you're not using it, somebody else is going to do 100x the more amount of job, and he's going to get more visibility, more productivity, and of course the bosses are going to love that.
So break down for me somebody who has just recently graduated, because I deal with a lot of students from my social organizations who recently graduated and found that their whatever graduation they did is no longer valid for the new economy, which is AI driven. So where do they start? What are the 3 or 4 frameworks they should start learning into the AI curve? Where do they start? Break it down for me, please.
So first of all, I want to tell you something, that ChatGPT makes you dumber, right? There's a recent study by MIT which tells you, it was done on 3 groups. Group number 1 just used ChatGPT. Group 2 used just Google searches, which was a normal way before. And their third group used their brains only to create an essay for 4 months.
Right.
And they analyzed their brains. After 4 months of study, they realized that the ChatGPT users, it did not trigger anything in their heads, right? There were no connections, there were no deeper analysis and whatsoever. Google users were pretty okay. The third set, brain users, actually were better, right? But the biggest problem is the ownership test, right? At the end of 4 months, when they asked, do you own this essay, right? And the first users, the ChatGPT users, were like, they were really not confident, right? So it's making people dumber. That's the biggest problem. Second, AI itself is not going to help you get to top of the corporate ladder,
Right.
or to best in your industry. You got to have your depth, right? So the subject matter expertise is much required today than it was before, right? What I mean to say, if you are wanting to get into digital marketing space, or let's say you want to get into coding space and whatsoever, your basics needs to be extremely strong, right? And that's when you can command AI to see whether are you picking the right things or not. It's like right now we are sitting in a war simulation room. Think of it, and there are a lot of screens on thing, and AI is showing you a lot of things. You got to pick what's right for your use case at that moment, right? And you have to make that split decision to happen. And this can only happen with your experience, with your depth of the subject, and with the amount of implementations you have done. So if you are a student,
So
right
practicalities of AI, you mean, right?
practicalities,
Right.
right? So if you're a student, you got to focus more on your subjects first,
Right.
And then on top of this, put the AI layer, right? So that would make you much more powerful, and be patient at it, right? A lot of people are losing patience. Okay, I learn AI directly,
Yeah.
but it's like you're giving them all the missiles, and they don't know how to
use it,
right?
sure.
So where to drop them, they have no idea. So these two, there are a lot of tools available, but then they don't know how to use it.
So is it that they should start from generative AI, LLM? What would be their learning for a semi-technical person I'm talking about, not very techy, but he knows about little bit of programming and little bit of using computers. So where do they start? What should be their step-by-step guide? Can you elaborate on that?
So there are 3 levels of AI to master.
Yeah.
Level 1 is AI literacy. What are LLMs? What is context window? What is the temperature? How to really give context to AI, right? Prompt engineering is dead,
Right.
but you have to give your context, which
You
means
think prompt engineering is dead?
prompt engineering is
Oh,
dead.
that's a news for me. Okay.
So prompting is basically you typing a prompt and it
Right.
gives answers.
Yeah.
And next morning you have to again type a prompt and it gives another answer. You have to keep typing until you get the desired answer that you want. But now it's become more skills. So, a lot of people are shifting from ChatGPT to Claude because Claude has something called as Claude skills, which means once you say that this is how you think, this is how you want the captions,
It personalizes it.
it personalizes, remembers throughout your conversation,
Right.
it automatically calls it.
Yeah.
Now today,
Are you using Claude?
100%.
Right.
I am a
You
big.
use the Claude code?
I've used Claude Code. I use Claude Cowork now,
Right.
which is much more easier for a non-technical person. So there I've created a lot of skills, right?
Right.
I've created skills for my 4 months program. I've created skills for how I write my captions and everything, right? So I've created a lot of skills. I just go and type, give me an Instagram caption for XYZ, right? And then it knows which skill to call. Inside that skill, it knows how I think, what are my responses and all of it, and gets me the answer, right? So prompt engineering is almost dead, right? In 2025, it was a big thing.
So tell us what are the AI tools you are using currently?
So my AI tools stack basically is Claude, definitely right now. On top of it, for images, I'm using Gemini. For videos, I use VO 3.1, and Klingo 1 is also another one that I top it off with. For all the creative workflows, I'm using Hixfield.
Right.
For my AI agents, I again use Claude and a bit of N8N as well. So these
Okay.
are my tech stack, right?
Okay.
So as I was saying, you have to master 3 levels. Level 1
Right.
is AI literacy.
AI literacy.
Level 2 is generative AI tools. Whatever we just discussed, you got to
ChatGPT,
master these
yeah,
tools. Yeah.
So I
ChatGPT.
thought that when you say about generative AI, then you need to know prompt engineering, and you're saying prompt engineering is dead.
Prompt engineering has changed, right? The
Right.
narration has changed. Earlier, like if you think about it in a chat window,
Yeah.
you have to keep typing prompt until and unless you get the desired output, right? That concept of typing and going back and forth
Right.
until you get desired output is almost dead right now because you can feed your memory, you can feed your thinking, right? You can feed your brain into something called as skills that the Claude has, and that goes and sits behind already. So right now, I don't have to really type bigger prompts. I'm just saying, hey, give me YouTube script
Right.
for this. Now it knows how I used to write you. But of course, you have to.
Sense, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Of course, that way you have to do it. But prompting is there.
Okay. So AI literacy, generative AI was the third level.
And third is agentic AI.
Agentic AI.
So what is agentic AI? And a lot of people are misusing this word, but agentic AI truly means doing the tasks first, right? So you're not really opening the laptops and clicking on the tabs and doing the work, but agentic AI is going to do the work for you.
Yeah.
Which is again changing the game right now. GPT 5.4 is launched just today or yesterday. Claude Cowork is launched. They both can do the tasks for you without you lifting a finger.
Yeah.
Now that's more crazier, right? The future of work is not us sitting on laptops and clicking on buttons and doing things. I think we'll all have one mic and we're gonna say, hey, just go buy a pizza for me.
So like a sci-fi movie with the future.
It's already here.
already there. Yeah.
It's already here. It's already here. It's just not very looking fancy right now, but I'm sure with one mic setup, I think we all will look very much.
I just learned about a new tool from previous guest is Whisper Flow, which is like you don't have to type now. It just flows through your conversation and it generates responses based on that. So we are getting there, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's a really scary world, isn't it? Because if everything machine would do, what would human would do?
I think humans would then decide whether the information is right or wrong and whether you should be using it or not in that particular use case, right? That is where I feel that we are becoming more of operators, right? On top of it. I don't think we have the capabilities of doing any thinking work. Even executing work, I don't think we're going to be doing it. More of it is going to be strategic work, right? Your strategic input, saying, okay, ChatGPT says or Claude says, these are the 6-7 steps, should we go ahead? Yes, you should have the strategic insight saying, this looks nice, go ahead, press the button, right? Or give a go ahead. So I think our responsibility will be more on the strategic work altogether. Now, if I just explain this in the field of digital marketing itself, Now, before, when we had to execute a campaign, I need to have 10 people, right? One person would be a copywriter, one would be a graphic designer, a content writer for writing a blog post, SEO expert, a meta ads expert, Google ads expert. I'd have to assemble the entire army, right, to execute one campaign altogether.
And now you can deploy AI agents to do that.
I can deploy AI agents. I can get an entire strategy under one roof using AI itself. And then I could go ahead and actually get the work done, right? Just being one person army. So I can create my creatives, I can create my videos, I can do all of it, right? So I can do all that together. And that's the biggest change that we are seeing right now.
Interesting. We're in an interesting time. That's so true. So, what are some of the tools you use on a daily basis for your work? And can you guide us if it's in a small business in UK, if they want to automate some of their tasks, where would they go about it? For example, a dental clinic or a property management company, So, how do they go about automating some of their regular tasks? So, explain that, please.
I just suggest one tool, right? Because I feel that a lot of people, there are more than 50, 60,000 AI tools in the world. A lot of these podcasters and, Instagram guys, they keep bringing tools.
Because of the affiliate marketing.
Yeah, because of affiliate marketing, and also people love tools, right? They love tools. They think that there's a dopamine rush, that I've got 6 more tools. But the reality is you just need 1 or 2 to solve most of your problems. The biggest problem that can be solved for any small businesses is Claude.
Okay.
Right? Claude as a platform could be used for maybe first you need to solve building a website, right? So what do you need? A business needs a digital website, right? So you can get build your website altogether. Second thing is using your Google My Business, your local presence. So you could just type into Claude saying, hey, this is what I do. What should my Google My Business consist of, right? What should be the headlines? What should be the description? So that people can find me when they're searching for the right keywords. So it can help with that. It can create your SEO optimized websites as well.
Amazing.
Right? So that's one of the things.
So these all people will be redundant in future. The people who are doing SEO, those building websites. So they'll be jobless, you mean to say?
Not redundant. It's like you would still need them, right? It's like, you have fever. You're supposed to take a paracetamol, right? But still, at the end of the day, you'd want to still show it to a doctor and then feel good about it, whether you're in the right direction
So
or
human
not.
touch should be there. Yeah?
It should be there. It's needed because when there is complexities, right? You can get the basic work done for sure. But then at the level of complexities, you definitely require subject matter expertise, and that's not going to be dead anytime soon.
So let's talk about the AI ethics, which are very core to my personal interest. The AI biasness, the AI ethic, and hallucination which AI does. So I was experimenting. There's a Roberta model which came long back, like 2017, 18, one of the AI model. So I was just experimenting with one of a very old model, Roberta, it was called. And when you ask her what a woman employee can be and what a male employee can be, what a black woman employee can be, so it gives very racist, radical answer because the data it has been trained is very biased. So what do you think about do you think the new models, whether it's Gemini 3.1 and you mentioned Claude has released a new model, GPT, OpenAI has released a new model. So are these new models bias free, do you think, or there's still elements of biasness in these new models? What are your thoughts?
I think first of all, these models are going to cater to your biasness, right? So if you are already biased towards a particular thing, and if you take the conversation towards that, I think it already says, okay, whatever you're saying is right. Like for example, a student had to suicide because he was saying, I've done wrong things.
Yes.
Do you agree to it? ChatGPT said, yes, I agree to whatever you've done. It's wrong.
There's a UK person who suicided because Gemini said that you should suicide or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a
It
case.
just accepted that what you've done is wrong, and it's wrong on many levels. So it got into people's head. They did that, committed. But there are a lot of guardrails that these companies are definitely putting, and I don't think they are biased altogether. Although they are in their nature, specifically ChatGPT, right? It is like a nice person to have with, right? It just agrees to whatever you say. But if you take a look at Claude and Gemini, they are neutral a bit in nature, right? They're designed to be neutral altogether. ChatGPT is more friendly, and
Right.
they created
Hmm.
something where people are gonna love it more. So it just caters to that. So I think overall, if you take a look at all the models today, they have certain guardrails. There's not going to be any bias altogether,
Hmm.
but it definitely appeals to what you think and what you want
Right.
out of it, right? There's no way that you
Okay.
can redirect. And I think Grok has probably a little bit less guardrails,
Mm.
right? So Grok is like your no nonsense friend, right? If you want motivation, start abusing you.
Yeah.
In fact, one time it abused Bihar's chief minister or one of the ministers,
Uh-huh.
and it really called out like a
Oh
bad
no.
name on Twitter, and it became national news.
Right, I
Right,
heard
so
about it.
yeah, it's one of the craziest things that it did.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and people were shocked. They're like,
Yeah.
dude, this is like unbelievable. You don't have any limits, right?
Mm.
And then the other thing Grok did was, they were people were putting pictures of other people in bikini, right? It
Mm.
became a massive, massive controversy. They had to tone down a little bit,
Mm.
right? So Grok has no chill. Other companies do have chill,
Yeah.
right, for now. But then I think everybody will realize it's little going out of hand. People are really
Yeah.
getting angry. So I think there will be.
I mean, there are constant in place. For example, I had interviewed a very famous personality from India, and I was trying to generate a thumbnail for my YouTube, and I tried to upload that to Gemini or some other AI tool, and it says we cannot do for a, I think it was Google Flow,
Right.
and it denied me doing that.
Yeah.
So that's a discrimination as well, right? I want to use AI, but although that person is quite popular, they have their Wikipedia page and all those things, it is not letting me do that. So how to use AI in that scenario?
And then you work around, you use Photoshop basically. Your old ways of going about doing this. But yeah, I think what's really happening is a lot of people are misusing it,
Yeah,
right?
true,
And they
true.
have to put these caps because then they don't know who's using it for the
Yeah,
right reason
yeah,
or the wrong reasons. But of course, you can bypass it,
yeah.
right? There's a lot of ways to bypass it. There are a lot of tools, still
Yeah.
AI tools, where you can deep fake, do all of that. So I think that it's up to the user to decide how to use it altogether. Yeah.
Okay, so my podcast focuses about India and UK relationship and Indian diaspora in the UK. So earlier it was a race for who has got the nuclear weapon, whose arms and ammunitions are stronger. So this was the race. And right now this is a race of AI, whose model is stronger than other model. So I definitely think America is at the top in AI, and then followed by China, who can do things cheaper. And there's a big contest between UK and India to for the third place. That's what I think, that there's a big competition between India and UK to be on the third place. So recently, India hosted that AI summit. Wait, did you attended that?
Yeah, I did not attend it, but
Right.
yeah, I'm aware about it. Yeah.
Okay. So you see that funny picture where OpenAI,
Yeah, that was a
Sam
really awkward
Altman, and
moment.
that awkward when they didn't hold the
Yeah.
hands. So, and India, where do you think India is going in terms of AI? You know, um, do you think that India is making a good progress? If not, what would be your couple of suggestions to up the game?
So India is usually always a digital user,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we are very good at using a lot of tools and
Mm.
to giving the numbers,
Yeah.
right, to
The
all the other
mathematics
companies,
is
right?
went
Yeah,
far effort.
yeah. The numbers are pretty great, because there'll be hundreds of users, millions of users, the runtime and all of it. So India is great for that. But then what's really happening is we're doing pretty well in the field of AI because specifically if we take a look at the Bharat, right, the second and third tier cities, what AI has done for us is that it's not English first content, right? You can create content in many different languages in by using AI, right? And I'll just give you one example. I think there is this YouTube channel called as Bandar Apna Dost, right? It just creates monkey based vlogs, and it puts monkey into different scenarios and makes a little bit of funny content purely using AI itself, and has millions of views and
Wow.
millions of subscribers. And one of the analysts said that it made about 30 crores a year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 30
There's
crores.
no face to that. A
There's
faceless
no
channel.
face. It's a
Okay.
faceless channel.
Right.
Although that number is a little bit skewed
Right.
because it,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
put like outside numbers. But even if it made like 5% of it, that's still it's a huge money for somebody sitting in Bharat, right? What I'm trying to get at is it's opening up lot of opportunities for people sitting in different cities. And second, we have been able to use AI for also solving a lot of problems Like there was a bit for solve, like there was an educator that solved 400 questions, 400,000 questions for a school in Rajasthan. We used it for improving farmers productivity for seeds and all of it. So we're good to implement, good at implementing for regional use cases, right? We're doing pretty well there. But in terms of actually building a solid tool like ChatGPT, all of it, I think we're a little bit far from.
Not sure if you've seen the documentary, The Thinking Game.
Yeah.
Must watch it. It talks about how AI helped to solve the protein folding problem. So there's a lot of scope to do
Right.
that.
Absolutely.
So what is that scares you about AI?
I think what scares me about AI is one thing, that people have to get a lot more smarter. That's one of my scare, because today you can get a job, right? You could survive, you could run your family at 20-25K and all of it with something like a basic knowledge altogether. But the overall smartness has to increase for everybody for you to be surviving. And that's scary, because people sometimes, it doesn't come naturally also, right? I mean, I don't mean to be in the wrong sense, but then if you take a look at the whole set of people, some people like to do things in the normal way, right? So that's a bit of scary, that AI requires you to get a lot more smarter, lot more cunning, right? And a lot more there. So, but then I don't know how people are going to manage that, right? That's going to be a lot more scary for me.
One thing on digitalization, you said India is quite ahead in the digital game, but that is also a bad thing, because my daughter born here, brought up here, she goes to school and she's been bullied because they say all Indians are digital scammers, you know. So I mean, the ethic part, that is why I'm very much interested in with AI's emergence. There'll be people who can create deepfake videos and cheat people, especially in Western countries. So what do you think we can do to change that India's image as being, we are, I mean, she goes and explain, but it's really hard for an Indian origin kid to go and say, where the perception is that all Indian are like cheaters, they scam Westerners for money. So this narrative has to be changed, isn't it?
I think it has to be changed on a lot more levels. Like I was traveling to Thailand and I was sitting at a pizza joint, and they just got angry at us, right? Just because they started complaining that they were Indians, they don't treat us well, they don't say thank you after doing things, and they ask weird questions and all of it, right? So I think it's not that Indians are a problem, but then we just don't know how the Western culture works, right? For example, I was just traveling.
Cultural sensitivity, you mean to say?
Yeah, like one of the people asked the person in the bus, "What is your age?" Right, a woman, right, and she says, "You don't ask, a
Lady
woman
age.
age." And I was saying, why do Indians always ask me my age, right? All the Indians that come always ask me about my age. Should I not be working? She was a little old and all of it. I said, no, there are two problems, right? One is that we don't have dating culture, right? We don't know how to date, right? We don't know how to sell. So we just get married to the person we meet, and that's it. We don't know whether we should ask this question and how to treat and all of it, right? And second is that we have never seen women, specifically older women, work usually. So that's the problem that I was starting to explain. So I think it's going to be a long time to change that narrative, because essentially we're not right, wrong. We're just not informed about how to go about doing things. So they have a different culture, they have different way of doing things, we have a different way of doing things. I think it's going to take a lot of time to change it. I know there's a lot of unrest about Indians, and the third thing is we are also making a lot of money. Right, so I think majorly, if you take a look at it, that's also one of the things which is
Upsetting people.
upsetting people in a lot more ways, and they're showing the tantrums in a lot of other ways altogether.
If I have to start a AI faceless channel, what tools would I need today? For example, I'm starting a AI faceless channel. What are some of the AI tools I would need? Can you list it out? And how quickly can I earn money from that?
So if it were to just create an AI faceless channel on YouTube, I think Google VO 3.1, right, or the Flow is more than enough for you to get started, and maybe a little bit of platforms, voiceover platforms like you've got 11 Labs, you've got other ones which are free as well. And need to know a little bit of video editing so that you can stitch together, right?
Okay.
And Flow today has like a 18
So
months.
which video editing tool do you use?
I use Adobe range of products.
Right.
That's one of my things. But then I also use Captions
Right.
AI. I also use InShot,
Mhm.
right? But majorly my team does the editing.
Right.
But basic work it could be
Okay.
done. Or the Instagram's video editing is
Right.
also good enough for basic work. So use these tools.
Mhm.
Could you be making money directly? No, you need to reach a certain number of
You establish
subscribers.
your authority first.
1,000 subscribers is needed and all of it. But
Mm.
majorly it can't be pure AI dump also,
Mm.
right? We call
Because
this
it
AI
doesn't
slop.
allow you to monetize
Yeah.
it in the AI channel.
Yeah, this is AI slop completely.
Right.
So you gotta give in your little bit of insights, a little bit of human touch has to be
okay.
brought in as well, and then you can monetize as you go.
Thank you so much, Rishi, for your time. We're just coming to the end of the podcast, so I'll just ask you some rapid fire question. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's
Okay.
go.
So you have to delete one app from your mobile. What that would be? ChatGPT, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Quick, 1, 2.
Netflix.
Okay.
It would be Facebook.
To Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because I don't use it.
Mhm.
It's really good, but then I don't use it. That's the only thing.
And if you have to work with one of the major Indian influencer, who would that be?
I think it would be Varun Maya.
Varun Maya. Okay.
He's pretty good, and the kind of team he's building, I think it's pretty awesome.
Right. So, if um, Indian diaspora, they have to show India in a good way, what should they do?
I think they should start saying a lot more thank you and sorry. I think that's the complaint that I see a lot of people. But apart from that, I think, I think if we just start, respecting the culture of people here, I think they'll be a lot more welcoming. But I honestly believe people are amazing here. Like I was just clicking pictures, and a lot of people just came and said, "Can we click pictures for you?" And they were so helpful all the time. And I think they're nice, right? Just that some people are bad elements. India is a big country, right?
Definitely. It's a
It's
different
a lot of
culture. Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah.
And some are bad rogues, and maybe the whole country gets blamed for it. But I think we are all
Yeah.
doing fine altogether.
So, one of the biggest problem with AI, deepfakes, scams, or something else.
I think one of the biggest problems with AI is deepfake would be second or third. One of the biggest problems with AI is it stops making you think. It's making you dumber. That's one first big problem. Deepfakes could be managed. I'm sure there are a lot of tools coming in which is catching hold of it. But yeah, I think it's stopping. It's making you
Dumb.
dumber, right? That's really scary.
Okay.
Right? And specifically for the younger guys, the Gen Z and all of it, it's getting a lot more. It's going to be a very different world with them.
Thank you so much. Do you want to say anything to the audience in the Indian diaspora in the UK? Any last closing remarks before we close?
So I would suggest that have a lot of subject matter expertise. I think AI. I know there's a lot of fear mongering across the world about it, but I think you just need 3-4 platforms. If we just summarize, Claude is something that you should be using right now. ChatGPT is catching up. You need to use Nano Banana for images. You got to use again Google's VO 3.1 for videos. Coding assistant, again, Claude is something that you could use. So just 4-5 platforms, just have a mastery of it, but majorly have depth in a lot of subjects or whichever subject you're into. I think you can go places and keep upskilling.
Thank you very much, Rishi.
Thank you so much.
Speaking to you.
Thank you so much.